The Easter event is over, and I hope all of you got the skins you needed, and of course, the Easter tunes. I'm sure some players were finishing off the Easter roster from last year, and for some players, this Easter event was their first Easter event. Luckily, we got so many ×2 bonuses, which allowed players to accumulate lots and lots of baskets. We've got some awesome topics to go through, and some leaks. What? Our first topic is a comparison between all three events, Christmas, Easter, and Halloween. This Redditor said, I tried putting the events from best to worst. This was very hard and most events are above average of the game, excluding Cole. Some are interchangeable like Bobbit and Ginger or Coco and Exon. Halloween is the only one I find has little to no interchangeability. And they've made a tier list of all of the event tunes, Christmas, Easter, and Halloween. Christmas has first place, then Easter, then Halloween. Wow, that's interesting. So this Redditor feels that the Christmas event was the best event out of the three. It's interesting because there are so many factors that go into play when comparing the three events against each other. There is tune design, there's abilities, there's characteristics of the tunes. So it's really difficult to compare all three events against each other. And of course, there's a lore as well. So there's so much to take into consideration when you're making a tier list when ranking the Dandy's World events. I feel like the Easter events tunes definitely have very unique abilities. Coco can make bonbons and Bassie can drop items. Those abilities are so unique compared to every other tune, and that's why I think Easter should win out of all of the events. But everybody has their own opinions. Our next topic is about the Twisted receiving new artificial intelligence. If you're unaware, Quell has released a dev log about new Twisted AI mechanics. For example, Twisted Sprout and Twisted Cosmo will follow each other if they're on the same floor, and Twisted Sprout will pause at a poster of him. Well, this Redditor said, now that there's new enemy AI, what are our thoughts on Connie being able to possess us and walk us towards Twisted? And as you can see, they've made an example of Connie possessing a tune. As you can see, the eyes of the tune glows and there is a struggle window, just like Twisted Squirm, where you have to fight your way out. And remember, this possession will lead you to Twisteds. So this idea is actually really good. I mean, I can foresee like so many bugs happening from this, but if the devs team make it correctly, then this could be an awesome rework to Twisted Connie. We have to remember that Twisted Connie is an uncommon Twisted, so maybe if this concept ever becomes a reality, then the dev team could reserve this idea for a rare Twisted that could possess you and force you to walk towards Twisteds. Our next topic is about the research in Dandy's World. So currently you can get up to 100% research and then you get a trinket from that Twisted, and that seems to be it. There's nothing more after that. So this Redditor has this concept called research update. Let's take a look at some of their ideas. So their concept is after certain milestones, you get different rewards. For example, currently you get a trinket once you reach 100% research, but they have suggested at 250% research, you get a title. Then at 500% research, you get +1 star to the tune stats. Then at 750% research, you get a second trinket from that Twisted. Then at 1000% research, you get a tune pet. Whoa, a tune pet? That sounds so cool. So here are some examples of research titles from different Twisteds. So for example, Twisted Goop's title could be Want a Hug. These are all really good titles, and I feel like the dev team are definitely going to expand the research system. It has an expandable foundation and there could be so many rewards that you can get from research. It will give players something to do and something to work towards instead of just cosmetics. So this Redditor said you can choose where the star goes to once you reach 500% research, and in this instance it would be from Twisted Shelly. If this concept ever becomes a reality, I think the dev team would choose for the players. So so that there isn't too many stars on one stat. Another reward will be at 750 research, and at 750% research you get another trinket from that twisted, and an example of a second trinket from a twisted would be flying balloons. The more items you have in your inventory, the faster you move. So this is an example of another trinket from Twisted Louie. I feel like the dev team really do need to give the research system more depth. There's so much the dev team can do with the current research system, and being able to get another trinket from Twisteds is definitely an amazing idea. Then of course at 1000% you get a toon pet that has an ability as well, so a pet will be following you around in runs. And here's an example where Astro receives a pet Pillow which has an ability, and the ability is Pillow runs to the selected toon to recharge their stamina 50% faster for 10 seconds. 3 uses per floor, 45-second cooldown. So this will be a reward at 1000% research for Twisted Astro. I think adding pets into Dandy's world could work. I feel like pets being added would add another dimension to toons. It will add to the toons lore as well. Maybe the toon handlers give the toons a pet to look after, which keeps them busy and keeps them out of trouble. So adding pets could work with the lore. Next up, we're going to talk about a possible future addition to the Dandy's world, game passes. There is something called Starter Bundle in the developer products for Dandy's world. As you can see, Starter Bundle for 1 Robux. I think the 1 Robux is just a placeholder. This game pass was made 10 months ago. That's a long time ago. So what could it be for? I was thinking that maybe the Dandy's world dev team will sell some starter toons like Boxton or Poppy and Tisha for Robux, because those are starter toons. They don't require any mastery to unlock, so they could be sold for Robux in a starter bundle. Next up, we have a Twisted Dandy rework leak. After Twisted Dial was released, players noticed that Twisted Dandy was inferior compared to Twisted Dial and hoped that Twisted Dandy would be buffed so that Twisted Dandy would be a bit scarier. So Quell said last year, I do want to buff Twisted Dandy at some point. Then Quell went on to say, yeah, I want to buff his twisted form some. No direct plans yet, but I'm coming up with some ideas. So Quell said this last year, and it's been a very long time, and Quell has not said anything about Twisted Dandy ever since she said this. Well, somebody has found a possible leak to do with Twisted Dandy's rework. Somebody found some information inside Twisted Dandy's code, and this is what they found. They said, I was data mining and found something about Dandy's buff. Let's take a closer look. As you can see, these are Twisted Dandy's stats. Everything looks normal, but then there is a section called guards tapes equals false, but Twisted Dandy does not guard tapes. Currently, Twisted Dandy is alerted to completed machines. So what is this section about guarding tapes? And below that is a tape guard radius equals 60. Is this a possible leak to Twisted Dandy that Twisted Dandy will guard tapes? Just like Twisted Sylvester guards machines, Twisted Sylvester goes to machines and camps those machines for a few seconds. Will Twisted Dandy do the same but with tapes? And the guard radius is 60, so maybe Twisted Dandy will walk around tapes, blocking toons from collecting tapes, which does make sense because Dandy loves tapes. In fact, he gets angry when you don't spend tapes in his shop in the elevator. So this Twisted Dandy code to do with tapes is currently in the game but set to false. So one of these days in the future, the dev team will set this to true, and then Twisted Dandy will start guarding tapes. Super scary.